Well, here I am getting ready to juice for our breakfast, and I wanted to show you some of the stuff that we're putting in our juice now. We just juice once a day, and we have about a quart when we're done. We use spinach, get the camera down there, spinach, and we have some kale and um, cabbage, celery, carrot, apple. We have an orange, some fresh beet, cucumber, tomato, and red pepper, and then we have a couple of limes in there to add a little bit of a boost of flavor. Um, in the summertime, we had some beautiful green vegetables coming out of the garden. We had fresh kale every day, collards, a couple different kinds of kale. We had some chard, and we enjoyed having all those fresh greens out of the garden that were organic and rich in flavor and nutrients. And to our juice, we also add some powders. We add organic ginger root powder. That is a really good cancer fighter. This is cayenne, and that offers a help to our intestinal tract for absorption of the nutrients. Plantain powder. This is something that grows in your yard. It's a weed, and it actually is something that was historically used on the battlefield as a wound dressing because plantain has some really healing benefits to it. So you can use it on your skin and internally. And one of the things that we are working on trying to heal up, and we've seen a lot of good results, is Adam's bladder was quite seriously affected by the radiation treatments that he had. And so we're trying to regain some of the benefits or some of the health of the bladder through the benefits of these herbs. This is marshmallow root powder, and that also helps with the bladder. Dandelion root powder helps with the bladder, and it's a good antioxidant. Horsetail powder helps with the bladder. It also is a good treatment for parasites in the intestinal tract. And then milk thistle seed. This one was really marvelous. When we started using this, the actual phytochemical in it is called silymarin or silymarin. And when we first introduced it into our juice, Adam had almost like a reaction that he had to chemotherapy. And what the milk thistle seed does is it forces or it binds up with the toxins that your liver is storing, and it forces them back into the bloodstream so that they can be eliminated. And so when we used this the first time, Adam was all flush and kind of rashy, and after a while that reaction stopped going or started it went away, and then we're thinking that maybe it helped draw some of that chemo out of his liver that was being held there. So we continue using it. We take a break from time to time, but it's a really good liver detoxifier. And then turmeric, we buy this by the pound. This is a huge cancer fighting spice that a lot of people use worldwide. I was shopping in the grocery store not too long ago, looking at the spice rack, and there was this lady standing there just shaking her head, and she said, there must be a run on turmeric in town because I can't find it anywhere. And I just nodded my head and I said, yeah, some people use it as a supplement to fight cancer. And she just nodded her head and went, mm-hmm. So I'm thinking she was probably going to use it for the same reason. This is flaxseed meal. I actually have whole flax seeds in storage, and I just grind them a little bit at a time so that they don't go rancid. And once we grind them, we keep them in the refrigerator to keep them fresh. But we put 2 tablespoons per day in our juice, and I get it in other places in our daily diet as well. So I'm going to get started. It's kind of loud to begin with. It settles down. And we'll show you when we get all done what it looks like. Well, here we are with our juice. We have a whole quart of it apiece. And at the end of our juice, we always add a drop of iodine because we when we took all the refined and processed foods out of our diet, we removed the refined salt that would have had iodine in it, so we don't really have another source of iodine. We don't eat seaweed, so we add this iodine in there, and it does make a difference. One day before we started doing that, I totally ran out of energy, and I didn't have any reason for it. I'd had a good night's rest, and I felt absolutely horrible. So we went to the health food store and picked up iodine, and within a couple of hours of that in a glass of water, I felt recovered again. So it was kind of a weird experience. So we just put a drop in our juice a day to supplement that. Is that?
It is quite thick.
It's got a lot of fiber.
Yeah, we have a slow juicer. We don't have a fast juicer. It's a slow juicer, so it more like grinds. We wanted to say too that the combination that you saw in the previous part of this video, sometimes we put grapes, pomegranate, kiwi,
Mango. We
and then
put watermelon in there too.
Yeah,
during
watermelon's
the season.
really good. And then the greens part of it, turnip greens, beet greens. So there's we do a lot of variety in it when we can. We always can't do that, but when we can. And we've been doing it since October of 2011, religiously every day. It takes about 30 minutes in the morning to prepare everything from start to finish and do it. But this is what holds us until lunch, and there's no problem doing that.
Yep. When we add those extra fruits in, a lot of people frown, maybe doctors would frown on juicing fruits, but as long as we keep the proportions so that it's mostly vegetables and a little bit of fruit for flavor and for the benefit of the phytochemicals, mango is a really good cancer fighter. Pomegranate is a really good cancer fighter. And even watermelon is phase 2 liver detoxifier. So last summer I really was hungry for watermelon, and I almost ate half of a watermelon by myself because I was giving myself justification for detoxifying my liver, but it tasted so good. And I don't do that every day, but as we eat things in season, we're getting the things that God has provided for us, and most of all, we're just thankful that God has provided healing for Adam.
Yep.
And healing for me, and we feel good, and we don't want to go back where we came from.